Valdosta State ties, which is the reason why we decided to give this podcast a try.
You're tuning into the Inferno Blazer Sports Show.
It was a banger.
I just love their fight. I mean, they never give up.
If you know, you know.
This is Titletown. We win championships or you get out of town.
Yeah, that's right. RP to Jack. He's not dead, but
No place I'd rather be. Go Blazers.
Got a full house in here, man.
Let me work on my intros real quick. This was a sweep. Let me see if this was a sweep real quick.
So much experience, so much potential. And they show up, they show out.
You can't take the heat. What makes you think you can survive the Inferno?
It is a wonderful Friday afternoon in Titletown, USA, in Valdosta, Georgia, here in the Mass Media Building, 1106. Welcome to Season 5 of the Inferno Blazer Sports Show, the sports show by the students about the Blazers for Blazer Nation, in which I'm going to constantly ask throughout the season, how the hell did we get here?
Are you sure about that?
Well, if you guys don't know who we are here, we actually have some new faces. We're going to go over here, some new face, some new hosts. But if you don't know who I am Jalen Scott, over here sitting to my left, Sawyer Baltimore, the two returning hosts for this season. But as I previously mentioned, we got two new hosts for the Inferno this season, starting directly across from me, conveniently in the This Is My Friday shirt in the all red, is Electra Thomas. Welcome, Electra, to the show.
Thank you.
And sitting directly across from me is someone who has had a direct hand in Valdosta State Athletics, former VSU soccer player, now graduate assistant, Ansley DeCenzo. Welcome on to the show.
Thank you.
So the four hosts for this season will be myself, Sawyer, Electra, and Ansley. We are super excited to bring you more VSU sports talk. The topic list for today, we're going to go over some rapid fire headlines and talk about the 10th national championship brought here to Titletown to the red and black with Sawyer. We're going to talk about some soccer with Ansley with a very familiar defensive core and a bit of a game to recap. Then we got some volleyball to talk about. They're currently in Colorado on the day of this recording. And then we'll wrap things up with football. We're glad you're with us. And if you can't take the heat, what makes you think you can survive the Inferno? So kicking us off here for rapid fire to open up season 5, Electra, we've had a lot of news this summer and even to the first 2 weeks of fall so far. So what do we got? What do we got here?
So to start off, we have Valdosta State Athletics finished 6th in the Gulf South Conference All-Sports Trophy, but wins the men's division for the first time since 2019.
Sure pays we have a football team that made the national run, that made the national championship, and a basketball team that played in the national tournament, and a tennis team that also won the conference title as well. So massive congratulations to our men's team for winning that division.
We have JD Hoss, that was formerly assistant coach, going to the newest head coach of VSU baseball after the departure of Jan Weisberg to Eastern Kentucky, marking him the 4th ever Blazer baseball head coach.
Isn't that kind of crazy that Blazer baseball has only had 4 head coaches
It is.
since 1967?
That's crazy. Okay, next up we have VSU Athletics launch a brand new official mobile app with the help of a new sponsor, Renaissance Bank.
There you go, you got it.
Blazers Spirit teams, Cheer and Red Hots announced their 2025 Kitty Clinic dates for Friday, September 26th at the Complex and Saturday, September 27th at the VSU football home opener versus UNC Pembroke.
I believe it is Pembroke.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
That's right too. So Cheer Red Hots, the Kitty Clinic. Look it up on Instagram or on the website or on the mobile app if you got any of those to look out for those dates. We love our Cheer and Red Hots
for sure. VSU Rugby returns with a promising 15-second campaign featuring 6 matches, 4 at home starting on October 4th versus the Georgia College and State University Bobcats.
Unfortunately, I will not be able to play in those because if you saw the season finale last year. If I didn't mention it then, I tore my ACL. So, yay me! but I took over as vice president for the club. So, I schedule all those matches. So please, come out, watch some rugby again, October 4th against GCSU. Going to be a great time.
Blazer Golf has registration open for the Blazer Cup event on November 7th, 2025. Blazer Cross Country opens its season with the annual border clash at Freedom Park.
Again, unfortunately, that's today. That's the day we're recording here. We're recording on September 5th, 2025. This will probably come out on Monday or Tuesday. I cannot remember exactly what day that is. So best of luck to our cross country teams out there at the border clash.
The Lady Blazers Bowling with the Blazers event is making a comeback with the registration open for single tickets and teams of 4 on the Lady Blazers Instagram page. Go to @VSU Lady Blazers on Instagram to learn more.
Well, thank you so much, Electra, for those rapid fire extra Blazer Athletics headlines. Yes. We're going to move on here to the biggest story we've had over the summer in a time where we're not covering sports. The last time we actually covered our men's tennis team was on the season 4 finale. They came out at the beginning of May, but in the time we've had then, we may or may not have brought some hardware back. Sawyer, talk us through that one.
Yep, that's right. The men's tennis team for the Blazers coming back-to-back national championships. A 26-0 perfect season.
Perfect.
And the run that they went on to end the year, it was a generational run. A 4-0 through the conference tournament, 4-0 win versus Christian Brothers, 4-0 win over Mississippi College, 4-1 win over West Florida. Through the South Regional Tournament, 4-0 win versus Spring Hill, 4-1 win versus St. Leo. And then through the national championships, 4-0 over St. Thomas Aquinas, 4-1 over Indy, 4-0 over Lubbock Christian, and then finally a 4-2 win over a upset-hungry Washburn team who knocked off Barry to make it into the finals to face the Blazers. And so that team, heartbreak for Washburn. Honestly, watching the match, they gave it their all. The Blazers had to win a couple comeback sets to win that match.
Who actually had to win those comeback sets? What do we know? What do we know about the singles and doubles match? I'm pretty sure.
Let me go back into the box score here real quick.
I'm pretty sure Takeshi definitely won his, if I'm correct.
Yes, Takeshi did win. He won the first set 6-1, dropped the second set 1-6, and then won the third set 6-1 over Tim Hams, who was ranked number 4 in the nation in singles play at the time. And then we had...
we also won the doubles point out of that one, too.
Yes, we did win the doubles point. Julian, the one who clinched the national championship for us.
Julian Ditto, the freshman.
Dropped his first set 4-6, won 6-3, then 6-2 to bring it home for us.
That's...
After a nearly hour and a half weather delay.
Oh my God, I remember that. So I was actually trying to keep up with it. I was actually trying to watch it for a while. And then, because it was in Almonte Springs.
Yes.
Yeah, Almonte Springs, Florida. They had that weather delay just so conveniently during that last single set where Ditto won it, where it's just like, I know you and I were thinking about, I was like, this seems awfully.
It was very convenient timing, but it's also Florida, and it was like 4:00 in the afternoon there, and it peak storm season.
Yeah, that's true.
The fact that they don't have these championships somewhere either indoors or somewhere where it doesn't storm every day like clockwork.
Thanks, ITA.
It would make a lot more sense, but it's fine.
So the question is, are we going to see West Florida somehow ranked number 1 again, despite the fact we got won back-to-back championships?
They tend to do that. So like.
See, this game's, if you watched last season, that gave poor Sawyer several headaches trying to figure that out.
Several crash outs because, we're over here defending national champs, bringing back pretty much everybody besides like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Dominating everybody. And then West Florida is like, we're still number 1. And then we dropped a spot. I remember we dropped like 2 spots actually.
Right.
From number 2 to number 4 after a 7-0 win. And I was like, whoa.
Like, wait, hold on.
I was like, come on now.
Stop.
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Hopefully this time there will be less headache when it comes to that. But besides, we got another trophy to put in that sweet trophy case at the complex.
And with everybody that's going to be on the team this year, don't be surprised to see us in the hunt for 3.
And we'll definitely have to come back. Definitely have to come back to that around in season 6 if we somehow make it to season 6. I'm not gonna hold anything to that. But sorry, thank you so much for giving us that tennis recap. Now we're gonna move on to a sport and to a team that's got some serious problems coming into this, despite the coaches poll maybe not favoring this Blazer soccer team in such a way. Ansley, what can you give us about Blazer soccer so far?
Yes. From personal experiences, 4 years here. we are a team that has so much experience, so much potential. It's just a matter of being clinical in front of goal.
Right.
I think that's been our biggest issue all 4 years. Like I said, we have the right players. We have the right clientele. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's a game time decision that coach has to make. And, we had to take advantage of those opportunities. So I'm just going to recap the Middle Georgia game that happened last night. So I talked to some of the girls. They said that they just couldn't create many chances. The goal that we conceded was because of us. And as you guys probably know, Middle Georgia is now in Division II.
Yeah, now Division II in the Peach Belt.
Yeah,
so
which is a pretty competitive conference. So the goal was conceded because of us. It's just simple errors that we just keep making. And like I said, it's just us being clinical in front of goal. And it's always a battle with teams like that. And, as you know, we're a small team.
Right.
Coach recruits small athletic girls. And, those are teams with a lot of internationals that are bigger, they're stronger than us. And so, we exceed in other categories.
You mentioned a lot of those newcomers as well, 12 of them on this roster, 8 true freshmen, 4 transfers, making up a total roster, not making up a total roster, but out of those transfers, 5 forwards, 3 midfielders, 3 defensemen, 2 goalkeepers. I know forwards was a major position group that was sought after this season. We have Adrian Cardona Colon, freshman goalkeeper for Winter Haven. Raya Mitchell getting her first start in that Middle Georgia game, coming out of Fort Mill. Tatiana Machado, junior forward from Dacula. She transferred from Allen University, was the SIAC Offensive Player of the Year. Taylor Humans, who scored the goal. That was a laser.
Banger.
That was a laser.
You're gonna see a lot more of those this season. I think she is probably going to be our star player. Mark my words now.
Yeah. The junior forward out of Noonan, transferred from Division I's Kennesaw State, in which I know a lot of people are going to hear Kennesaw State. They're probably only going to contribute that to football. It's like no. Kennesaw State's got some very competitive teams, and if you're second team All South Atlantic Conference at a previous school at Tusculum in 2022, you definitely got yourself a good player there at the forward line.
She is very confident on the ball. She knows the game well, and and overall she's just a great person. And that carries off the field. Like, let's say we lose a game, she's going to be that girl that's like, guys, next one, she knows she's good, but she doesn't make sure that she's good.
Right.
So, and that's something you can appreciate.
Absolutely.
But like you said, we have a lot of new faces. We have a solid front line. We're solid fit, athletic at the midfield coming back. Anna Dandenau, Caitlin Scherer, Maria, that's a deadly trio right there.
Yeah, that is a super deadly trio there, especially Maria Rojas leading the team in scoring last year. With 5 goals. Caitlin Scherer and Dandenau is a very, very solid returning midfielder core. And again, Rojas, did she make was she second team?
I think it was all team GSC, right?
All team GSC. I don't remember if they do first and second teams
with Catherine. I think it's just all team. Yeah,
I think it's all team. So two players who made the all GSC team last year back at our midfielder line. I mean, that's huge. But I think another play I really want to focus on, I think a little underrated, going on the defensive side, Sydney Foy. Sydney Foy as a defender was incredibly solid last year at that defensive line, along with the 2 sisters, Catherine and Caroline Kimmel as well. So that defensive core is also really, really good.
Oh yeah. Sydney is underestimated. Like you said, she's small, she's short. And when you think of a center back, you think of a tall and strong, built, athletic, girl, and she is all of those things, but she's 5 foot, So, no, she's going to be a great player, I think, for us this year. And she's stepping into a leadership role. We had a lot of, like you said, a lot of important players that that are departing. But I think with a lot of the younger players that got some time in last season, but they're now taking on leadership roles, all of those skill sets together in the mix with this new season, I think overall we're going to be good. We're going to be good. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's just us, performing in that final third.
I absolutely think so as well. That was also something that was a major concern when I was covering this team last year. The biggest thing, or at least the way I attributed it was, it's like this team they come out, they burn through those first 40 minutes. If I was correct, after that first half against Middle Georgia State, we had all the shots. We had all the shots on goal. We had all the pressure, all the corner kicks, putting all the pressure on their defense. But it's just those last 20 minutes. It's just those last 20 minutes where you experience a lot of those mental areas, the fatigue, the relapses that ultimately can cost you with an 85th minute goal, which is kind of one of those here like, oh, he could have gone for 5 more minutes.
I know.
Sometimes that's just how it rolls. So soccer is starting the season technically without a win, but also without a loss either. 0-1. So I guess technically we have a 500 win percentage. That's semantics at that point. But looking at the GSC preseason poll, I said at the beginning of this that the coaches poll wasn't going to be too nice to us, considering some of the teams that are ahead of us right now. You got West Florida, who took 12 of the first place votes, 144 points overall. They were the regular season and tournament champions last year, won the South region, has 3 players on the all GSC team. You got Montevallo in second, Lee in third, Union in fourth, Mississippi College in fifth, who, if I'm correct, we beat them for the first time ever last year. Was that right?
I think that is correct.
Yeah, they would be in for the
previous years, since I've been on the team, it was always a tie. Or I remember there was also, I think it was my sophomore year,
right?
Maybe junior. I think my sophomore. We were up 1-0 and a girl hit a rocket from almost midfield. She didn't even mean to score.
Oof.
And it went in. So
sometimes just works
tough
out
times.
like that.
Yeah, it's tough times. But that right there explains. If that does not explain our team to a T, then I don't know what does, because it's like, you can call it bad luck and, the tables are turning. But one thing that I will say is our record does not show the kind of team that we have.
I don't think so.
And I'm glad that you see that too, because, and obviously it's a little bias coming from me, but if you grab someone from a random place in Georgia and let them watch our team just practice, they would be like, this team's confident. This team knows how to work the ball. But like I said, it hasn't been fair to us. That's the only way to put it.
It especially shows last year. You guys went 5-1-1 at home last year.
Yeah.
So definitely playing in Titletown is your guys' strongest suit. We're definitely got to see how this rolls along as the season progresses. But kind of just some bigger thought-provoking questions here of some of the questions the team will face this season. One of the biggest things that really kind of, not going to say concerns me, but I think is a point of contention here is the scoring production.
Right.
Because we lost a lot of forwards last year. You include Molly Woolridge, Anna Maleka, that dynamic duo.
Right.
That dynamic duo we have here on you and Hunter Wallace as well, Molly Munchin as well. So where do you think? So where do we really think that the scoring production is going to come from with those forwards? And my evidence with this one here, so people don't think I'm kind of just spitting just the spit. Yeah. Maria last year was a team leading scorer, 5 goals in 18 games played, which is the lowest in that category since Molly Woolridge's 5 goals in 2022 and Kayla Robles before back in 2016. So only 5 goals with your leading scorer is a bit concerning.
It is. No, you're right.
So where do you think we go from there on the forward line?
I think, like I said, we have a lot of new faces. I think Maria will definitely be a key point for our attacking third.
Oh yeah.
I also think Taylor Humans is going to be another strong contender for, leading us in goals.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who is kind of slept on, I like to say, is Victoria Barr.
Barr.
She creates, she shoots when she knows that she can. Great clinical player. I think that I can see some goals from her this season. Along with Anna Danenow is probably, no doubt about it, the hardest worker on that field. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah.
She's someone who can get up there, but she's just so generous. She's always looking for that extra pass. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we're like, Anna, just kick it. We'd rather you have a chance at scoring than, passing it when you don't need to.
Extra pass.
Yeah. So I think her. I also think Kaylee Kearns and Sarah Hudson are going to be 2 players to watch this season. Sarah is, like we know, Anna has been our, our center forward, our star center. So I think Sarah is going to have some time to shine this season. Kaylee is just a hard worker as well. I can see her being in front of goal as well.
Right.
So I think ultimately, this is just a side note. You need fit outside forwards to help the forwards create motion.
Right.
You need forwards that are going to run. You need forwards that are going to work and ultimately defend. So a lot of forwards in our conference don't have to defend because of the formations that they play.
Yeah.
But the way that we play, you have to have fit outside forwards to score.
Yeah.
That's just what comes down to it.
That's always something I've always kind of noticed about Coach Andrew's game as well, is that it's very defensive based.
Mm-hmm.
It's very defense based. You create your opportunities through counterattacks.
Yes.
That's definitely one of the biggest things I saw in that Middle Georgia game of picking off passes, intercepting passes over the middle. Intercepting passes over the middle, forcing poor passes that lead to throw-ins. Forcing poor passes that lead to throw-ins, or getting a look, or when you're in the offensive zone, creating opportunities to eventually set yourself up for corner kicks. I will say though, we probably need to dial back down the aggressive meter a little bit, because we got called for offside. We got called for offside so many times.
Yes. And I think that will, because a lot of us we're trigger happy. We want to score, and coaches always telling us, you don't always need to think like that, like let's play our game. Let's get our passes down, and then we'll go from there, and then when you need to find that extra pass, find it.
Exactly.
If you don't need to, take your shot, be confident, and so it's hard. It's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, obviously.
But it does. I mean, you're right. I do think that we need to kind of dial back and, play our game and be composed and take shots when they're needed.
Absolutely. And with that being said, we got the home opener. Unfortunately, this episode will already be out by then, against Palm Beach Atlantic out of the Sunshine State Conference. We're actually going to talk about Palm Beach Atlantic here in our next segment, but the home opener against Palm Beach Atlantic on September 7th. Again, unfortunately, this video will already be out. And then we got Georgia College on September 11th, followed by Georgia Southwestern. That's always usually a good game, but that's out in Americus. So the next home game, if you want to pop out to the soccer complex, would be against Embry-Riddle on September 17th at the Athletic Fieldhouse. Pop out and show your support for Blazer Soccer and for all of our Blazer athletics. But for now, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back with some volleyball talk. This has been the Inferno Blazer Sports Show, the Valdosta State Sports Podcast by the students about the Blazers for Blazer Nation.
Hey there. Suppose you want to hear more hot headlines, scorching stories, and humorous but informative commentary on all things Blazer athletics? How about subscribing to the show, following us on Instagram at the Inferno B.S.S, or checking out our website at www.sites.google.com/view/the Inferno B.S.S so that you never miss out on any episode of the Inferno wherever you get your podcasts. You're listening to the Inferno Blazer Sports Show, the sports podcast by the students about the Blazers for Blazer Nation all around. And now, back to the show.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Inferno Blazer Sports Show. We hope you've been enjoying the show so far. We've covered the rapid fire headlines. We've covered tennis. We've covered soccer. Now we're going to move things on over to volleyball, a sport that I hold quite dear. As just kind of breaking the news here, I will be returning to the broadcast booth to call the VSU home games on Flow College. I'm honestly so grateful to be back in that position again to call VSU volleyball. And there's gonna be quite a bit to talk about with this volleyball team, because we've had quite the roster. We've had quite the roster turn with this volleyball team, as they are actually, at the time of this recording, are in the Ore Digger Volleyball Classic out in Golden, Colorado, to face Grand Valley State University. That's actually happening today, is the day of this recording, facing Colorado School of Mines as well, along with Colorado Christian. And funny enough, a certain team we've already mentioned on the show, Washburn, number 22 in the nation, Washburn, along with number 14 in the nation, Grand Valley State University. So this section won't really be covering the games themselves, because because none of us can look into the future.
Gasp! I never would have guessed.
So I don't know how these are going to end. But what I will talk about here is a lot of the roster churn that this volleyball team has experienced this season. 6 departing players, if I wrote it correctly, or you have 6 departing players. A lot of them pivotal in that 19-12 record last year that saw Blazer volleyball make it to the second round of the GSC tournament. 13-7 in the conference, which if I am correct, is actually the best conference record in the last few years, 650 winning percentage. We had a better conference record or winning percentage wise than we did overall record. Conference was 650, overall was 613, but semantics. But that's semantics at that point. And we're also pretty good at neutral sites as well, going 3-1 at neutral sites. So with this volleyball team, I mentioned a lot of those major names. Here are the 6: JoJo Smith, Amaya Harris, Audrey Bennett, Christina Pettigrew, Lily Glover, Kaya Baker. And if you even saw one game out of the 30 games that VSU volleyball played last year, when you saw the numbers 1, 3, 9, 10, and 15 on the court, if you saw any of those numbers on the court, you knew they were going to produce. They were cornerstones of this Blazer volleyball team, particularly the connection between JoJo Smith and Audrey Bennett. Audrey Bennett had a stellar season with setting this year. She was a 3-year Blazer, had 9 30-plus assist games in her first 11 last year. 133 digs, 15 solo blocks, 25 assisted blocks, and I kid you not, 666 assists that season, averaging 6.1 assists per set, along with 82 kills. I believe she was honestly one of the masters of that second touch tip over. Where we saw her do it so much. If you saw Audrey over the middle at the front row, and it was the second hit, she was going to go up for it. She was either going to do one of two things. She was either going to give a proper set, or she was going to catch you sleeping. She was going to catch the other team sleeping and just do a little dainty tip the ball over to the other side on that second hit, catching teams off guard. I would honestly love to believe that's how she got at least half of those 82 kills that she had last year. She was fantastic at that. Not to mention, Christina Pettigrew, the absolute
here we go again.
Machine that she was, along with Katie Kallenberg, who's actually returning this season, along with Ava Young. I'll get to them in just a second. Lily Glover, the spark plug, as I remember she was called. She was given that nickname as the libero. And spark plug, she provided such electric energy on the court, whether she was diving for a point saving dig or serving aces left, right, and center. I can't remember exactly how many aces she had. I believe I have it written here. She had 276 digs, the second best receiving percentage on the team at 939 with over 400 attempts. So she was 94% effective at receiving the ball in over 400 attempps. So it was guaranteed she was going to receive a ball, pretty much, and served a team best, third best, 33 aces. So unfortunately, we've kind of lost the spark plug there. But I think one of the biggest pieces we lost there was also kind of our primary libero, Kaya Baker, 1,500 digs. It's a second-year Blazer. Was named to the D2 CCA first team All South region. It was 1,500 digs in her career. Team leading 579 last year, was the GSC Libero of the year, and at one point held the number 14 spot in total digs in all of Division II. All of Division II, Kaya Baker held the number 14 spot at one point in total digs for a season. And she also served a team leading 43 aces. So that kind of production, it's definitely going to be missed.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be loss for sure.
However, despite that, as years go on, as athletics go on, you can't dwell too much. So what we look for now are the 7 newcomers. We've had 6 departures, but 7 newcomers, 2 new freshmen and 5 transfers, 4 outside hitters, 1 middle blocker, 1 setter, and 1 libero. Just going to go over them real quick. Macy Brown, a graduate outside hitter transfer from University of New Haven out of the Northeastern Conference, out of Division I, listed as a GSC newcomer to watch for this season. Madison Kilmer, a freshman at middle block out of Aurora, Colorado. And I think one of the biggest pieces that's going to play a pivotal role along with Avery Mullins, who's returning for a redshirt sophomore season. Ashton Middleton, a graduate setter transfer from Lee University. We somehow managed, or Coach Suha and the coaching staff over there, Coach Suha and Coach Mullen and them, wonderful coach staff, by the way, managed to pluck away one of Lee University's players who ended our season last year. If I'm correct, going back looking at the schedule, yeah, they ended our season last year, 3-2 in Pensacola in the GSC championship. We plucked away their setter. So I'm really interested to learn how we managed to do that and how Ashton's going to fit in with this offensive scheme. Another one, Aimee Negron-Dominic, a junior libero transfer from Hillsborough Community College out of the JUCO level. Another one, the GSC newcomers to watch. Haven't really seen much out of her, but it seems like she's going to be a feisty defensive player. Kinsley Timmons, a freshman outside and right side hitter from Leesburg, Georgia. Eva La Rochelle, a sophomore outside hitter transfer from Seattle Pacific University out of the Great Northwest Athletic Conference, Division II. And what's funny is I wrote this down specifically to mention this. She's also from Plant City, Florida. How on earth did you go from Florida to Seattle to Valdosta? I want to know that story. I really want to know that story. So Eva, if you're tuning into this, reach out to us. We really want to talk about that story. We want to talk about your story of how you went from one corner of the country to the other and now back. Just to wrap up the newcomers as well, Asia Montagnani, a junior outside hitter transfer from Stevens College out of the NAIA level, and from Livorno, Italy as well. So that's quite nice. But in terms of returning players as well, at the libero side, Haley Holder returning for her junior season, played 35 sets, had 44 digs. Mia Verger returning for her sophomore season, only played in one set last year, but she'll probably see a bit of an expanded role this year. The setters, Avery Mullins, the redshirt sophomore, kind of took over as the primary setter for those last couple games against West Alabama, Mississippi College, Trevecca Nazarene, and Lee University. She played the primary setter position against Lee University in the GSC championship game. Had 105 sets played and played nearly all 28 matches, 474 assists at a 4.51% clip, 21 aces and 179 digs, along with Ava Quenches returning. She didn't play last year, so we'll see if she'll get an expanded role this time. But when it comes to the outside hitters and the right side as well, Sabrina Onsens and Katie Kallenberger. I remember when Onsens finally burst onto the scene and found her spot as kind of like a second to JoJo Smith. She was electric. Like Sabrina had an excellent knack for serving and hitting on that left side. It almost looked like just like a straight up clone of JoJo out there. So having her back at that front line, I think she's definitely going to take over JoJo's spot as that number one hitter. I know it's kind of probably not the proper term for me to say like number one hitter or whatnot, but probably is like your primary person to go to get those pivotal kills. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if Sabrina comes out with over 200 kills this season, considering how she plays her game and how she runs. Katie Kallenberger as well, one of the big names this season. Kallenberger plays excellently on that right side. Also a great middle blocker as well. So she's probably going to be playing both those positions quite often, along with Ava Young as well, the 6'1" senior returning for that middle blocker position as well. So this team, they definitely have a great foundation to build on, especially when you have Ava, Katie, and Avery as your captains for this season. That's a great leadership group. So going into this season and going into what they're facing here, out in Colorado, and then they're coming back here to Valdosta for the VSU Fall Tournament against Shorter, Palm Beach Atlantic, Georgia and GCSU and Anderson, even though we don't play Anderson. Honestly, looking at these next couple of games with this tournament, other than really dealing with Anderson, I feel like this is our tournament to lose, really, because Shorter, Conference Carolinas. Well, to be kind of fair, it's Shorter. I don't think there's much more I need to say on that. Former GSC member. I believe the last time I checked, they were actually ranked 10th in the Conference Carolinas poll, the preseason poll. Then we got Palm Beach Atlantic. They might. I think they'll definitely give us a fight. They'll definitely give us a fight. And then we have Georgia College State University, who in the research I'm doing on them right now, has only won one conference game in the past 2 seasons.
Shameful display!
So I think this is our tournament to lose, other than having to deal with Anderson, who we don't face. So I'll leave it to that. So by the time this episode comes out, 4 games that have already been played, 2 against top 25 opponents, which is also really, really interesting and really nice to hear as well. Because I remember last year at the fall tournament, we faced, like number 1 Tampa. We faced the literal reigning national champion in University of Tampa. And I honestly think that fall tournament definitely sparked up this team to go on the incredible run that they did. I believe at some point they had like a 5-6 match winning streak at some point. So this team is definitely going to be a team to watch with Sabrina, Katie, Avery, maybe Ashton there at the setter position, Dominic at the libero position as well. This seems like a very well-balanced, well-rounded team that I cannot wait to finally get to call in person on September 12th during the VSU fall tournament. So I'm gonna leave it off at that. The VSU fall tournament starting on September 12th against Shorter University at 9 a.m. at the complex. You can also tune into it on Flow College. And I will say this again: no shame, no plug. Please don't call me a shill. I'm just telling you where you can find the games, and also you get to hear me if my voice wasn't already annoying enough. Thank you for your time.
What, bro? What are you talking about, man?
Anyways, we're going to move on over to football, who decided to start their season a little early before we could even begin recording. So football's already got a game under their belt before we got started here between VSU and Clark Atlanta, the reigning Division II runner-ups. Had themselves a bit of a run-in with Clark Atlanta here at the Week 0 Labor Day Classic out in Birmingham in the Iron Bowl, which was really cool. Which was really cool to see, by the way. That's a really cool event to have there for that Week 0 Classic. So VSU Clark Atlanta, what can we say about that?
So the Blazers ended up winning this game 31-28. The game-winning play, in my opinion, was that blocked field goal on Clark Atlanta's final drive. But, how about our freshman kicker knocking through that field goal to put us in front? I can't remember exactly how far the kick it was.
Either way, he ended up winning. He ended up winning a GSC award. He ended up winning a GSC. We actually had 2 from the Blazers. Yeah, freshman of the week for him, along with, if I can pull up the thing here. Freshman kicker Matt Rollader named GSC Freshman of the Week, and punter Devin Walter named Special Teams Player of the Week. Walter has a great leg on him.
Oh,
down several punts inside the 5.
Oh my gosh!
That's one thing that our football team does. Our special teams is usually where it needs to be.
Especially with that fake punt.
Yep.
That fake punt deep in your own territory, about your 30-yard line. That was gutsy, but you know what? I'll take gutsy if it works.
Right.
I will absolutely take gutsy if it works.
That was a thing of beauty. It was executed to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
No risk, no reward, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, hey, got to come out and make a statement in your first game as head coach, right?
Yep. And then Reddick punching in the first touchdown of the season. He's looking very promising as a running back, as a runner so far, taking over for Blake Hester, even though he only amassed 78 yards in that game. He's definitely shown to be a great. He's not really so much a power runner than he is more like a balanced back. Oh, yeah. And I think that's something that this team really functions well off of.
Yeah, we needed that because last year we had our power back and we had our speed back. We didn't really have a middle guy. Mm-hmm. And so having that middle guy, it really helps out. You see the rushing stats right here. Reddick led the team with a net of 72, but then he wasn't the only one. I mean, we totaled 188, but Eric Watts had 68 yards.
Right.
Jamontez Woods had 31. Bo Televast had 23. So, we have a pretty balanced rushing attack out there, and that's one thing that I think is a major improvement from last year and the year before, especially from that 2023 team.
Right.
If you look at the 2023 team, we couldn't run the ball.
We couldn't.
On anyone.
We couldn't run the ball. We couldn't stop the run.
But last year it was a lot better. We were especially better at stopping the run.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you look at this year, I think this was the best rushing performance I've seen from the Blazers
I would argue some of the games last year where Blake Hester and Alfonso Franklin won
absolutely,
and Alfonso Franklin as well. I got to give Franklin credit.
You cannot forget Alfonso Franklin.
I know he had at least one hat trick. Franklin had at least one hat trick.
I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember exactly what game it was, but he had a hat trick that year. So I would argue last year was better.
I think Hester had a hat trick too in one game.
Probably at some point. Also won GC Offensive Player of the Week.
But I'm talking about from like a balance perspective. Mm-hmm. I think this is the best balanced attack I've seen from our offense in a while. And, I saw a lot of good things in the game from the offense. I saw some things that I think we need to improve on from the offense also. Harris Boyd, in his first start. Let's see, how was he passing? He was 14 of 24 for 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. For your first start on the team, that's not too bad.
I don't think so either. And also gonna say he's listed as a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, he is a redshirt freshman from Memphis.
Yeah, listed as a redshirt freshman, attended University of Memphis for 2 seasons. Funny enough, with now head coach Graham Craig, he was the offensive analyst over at the University of Memphis. So these two are already familiar with each other. Harris didn't see any action in 2023 and only played in 3 games in 2024, going 1 for 1 against Navy. And had 1 rush for 4 yards and a touchdown against UAB last November.
Right. He looked solid. He did look solid in his first start. Just some minor things to improve on. He had a couple timing issues. That was the main thing that I think he had was just a few timing issues.
Right.
But other than that, pretty solid from our offense. Now the defense looked overall pretty good in my opinion.
Right.
There was just a couple moments where quarterback contain broke down and we just had no one there, and they took advantage of that.
Yeah, because this is a defense that much like the offense is mostly revamped.
Yes,
that has been mostly revamped and overhauled.
A lot of new faces. Football gets a lot of new faces every year, but I feel like this is.
Especially this year, especially with the coaching staff turnover that we had also. Brand new head coach, couple new faces on the staff as well. It's to be expected that there's growing pains. Mm-hmm. So it's very, you can't sit there and knock them for it, but you can point out some areas where it just needs to look a little bit better, especially going into this week's game against a team that's receiving votes in the coaches poll and looks really good on paper and on film.
And considering the fact that Valdosta State is still ranked right now, and okay, this is going to sound like a tangent here, but when we talk about the rankings here, we're going to talk about the impact on the rankings here of that win over Clark Atlanta. Now, the 2 polls that we usually go off of are the ones from D2 football and the AFCA, the American Football Coaches Poll. In the AFCA poll, we were wanked 12.
Bruh.
I don't know. I just had a freaking Scoggy moment.
I have the coaches rankings pulled up right here. At the time of this recording, we are ranked number 11, right behind Angelo State and right in front of Charleston. At the time of the game, we were number 12.
Yes. And on the D2 poll, we were initially 17th, but moved up to 14th.
Yes. And then there's the Flow Sports Bowl.
We have 3 different rankings.
Yeah. I gotta pull up some of the comments that were.
Let's do some addition and subtraction and find the middle.
Like I said,
that was quite divisive.
Go to the coaches poll. I think that might be the best, true balance. Because personally,
this man over here is like Thanos.
Yeah,
all about balance.
Balance is all things should be.
So here's the Flow College football poll from recently. I'm only going to list the top 10. Fair State 1, Harding 2, Grand Valley State 3, Slippery Rock 4, Virginia Union 5, West Florida 6, Valdosta State 7, Angelo State 8, Western Colorado 9, Minnesota State 10, and a lot of things here are especially talking about Bemidji State. Talking about Bemidji State being ranked number 21. Some people questioning the legitimacy after what looks like, if I'm reading MTU correctly, I believe that's Minnesota State.
Are there any comments about us?
MTU?
No, I don't know.
That might be Minnesota. That might be Michigan Tech.
Oh, Michigan Tech. Right. Yeah, because Michigan Tech is ranked 24th right now, and Lenore Ryan is still ranked 23rd, even though Michigan Tech beat Bemidji State.
Virginia Union at 5?
Yeah.
They're 16th in the coaches poll. Do we really think that Virginia Union is better than West Florida? Do we think that they're better than Minnesota State?
Don't.
Isn't that kind of like weird?
Do we think
yes.
Like,
especially considering how their season ended last year and they're losing a decent. They lost a decent.
Their rushing attack got shut down by us last year.
You got to remember, we blew them out in the quarterfinal,
right?
And then they lose a few good pieces.
I believe Jada Byers is one of them.
I don't think he's there anymore, and he carried that team.
He literally carried.
He carried the team. So unless they have some superstar running back and quarterback or something that we don't know about, I having them at 5,
or we might see them in November again. But speaking of other GSC teams, at least in several of the polls, actually, I believe in only the D2 football poll, only the D2 football poll, all the GSC teams are ranked.
Yes,
and this is mostly based off Delta State coming into the season unranked, projected to finish 4th in the conference, I believe.
And then upsetting
Central Missouri. That was huge. And then we were talking about it during the break, number 8 in the nation right now, West Florida beating Lenore-Rhine. Like that's a huge matchup, having the 8 and 11 going against each other. And it wasn't close either. It was 48-21.
And then we play both of them.
We play both of them later on the season. And then West Alabama beating Fort Valley State 27-17. And then obviously VSU beating Clark Atlanta. It also just kind of sparks this question of like, whose wins really matter more and how you rank them. Because you can't deny Delta State upsetting Central Missouri. That was huge. But West Alabama beating Fort Valley State.
Although I will say, don't underestimate West Alabama just based on that result.
Yeah, because they have a new coach. They have a new coach as well.
Scott Cochran is going to have that team running well, especially with Spencer Arsenault back and under center again. And that's absolute field general.
That's another thing with the quarterbacks as well. Like Harris Boyd going into this, he is going into some gauntlet matchups.
And I mean, and he's as green as can be pretty much.
Yes.
But then you have Spencer Arsenault coming back for West Alabama.
Yep.
Seasoned veteran, led them to a playoff berth last year.
Cole Kirk returning for his 6th season at Delta State. Marcus Stokes
back at West Florida.
Stokes back at West Florida.
I think this is his 3rd season at West Florida.
And not to mention, I know we have North Greenville. Dylan Ramirez is still quarterbacking at North Greenville. So there are some.
And he did some good things against us last year.
Yeah, there are some dogs at quarterback this season that this team is gonna have to face.
It's gonna be quite the season for us. Just all around D2, because there's a lot of.
And there were a lot of upsets as well. I don't know if I could properly cover all of them.
If I remember correctly, Central Oklahoma they were ranked number 2 in the D2 football poll to start the season.
And CSU Pueblo got knocked out. They got knocked out 36-35.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the case for CSU Pueblo a lot. They go into a game highly ranked, highly favored, and they just find a way to lose.
Speaking of upsets, Ouachita Baptist lost. Ouachita Baptist got upset.
Again, that seems to be the unfortunate circumstance for them as well. But yet CSU Pueblo still stays at number 5 in the coaches poll. Despite... Well, no, CSU Pueblo, they won.
Wait, did they?
Yeah, CSU Pueblo won. They won 43-0 over South Dakota Mines.
Oh, wait, no, that'd be after week 1 because this came out today. This came out today from D2 football. It was last night. It was last night's game on September 4th. CSU Pueblo
they played last night.
Yeah, against Fort Hays State and lost.
That makes sense. Oh, then yeah. Oh, to Fort Hays State, they had no business losing that.
Yeah.
Game. They had zero business losing.
And it also says CSU Pueblo is the highest ranked AFCA top 25 team that the Tigers of Fort Hays State have ever defeated in their NCAA Division II history. And this team was also taken down Pittsburgh State and Northwest Missouri State, both number 8s in 2014-17.
So was that watching a Baptist game also last night?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because on here, the one I'm looking at, it shows that they were idle. So So these Thursday games are weird.
So if anything, just kind of wrap things up and put it all in a neat little bow. The schedule coming up for us, we got Johnson C. Smith out of the CIA receiving votes. Literally tomorrow after the day of this recording, so that game will have already happened. Then we got Shawan up in Murfreesboro.
And then finally our home opener.
And finally our home opener against UNC Pembroke, which I don't know how many more promotions you can fit into one game. It's Youth Day, Family Weekend, Cheering the Red Hots Kitty Clinic, and the Blazing Brigade Band Day, in which we wear red, for what's likely going to be the debut of the new red uniforms. And I gotta say, y'all hit the mark on that. But please make the black uniforms match. Please make the black uniforms match the white ones or the red ones, or just have the same template for all of them. I can't stand all three jerseys having a different template.
The only one that I'm okay with having a different template is the alternate. If you want, because it's an alternate for
exactly. But the home and away, come on. We're probably gonna have to make a whole extra ember just ranking jerseys at some point. I've actually been meaning to do that for a year now.
Because there's some gorgeous ones in D2.
Absolutely.
Those light blue ones that Grand Valley has to die for.
And also just in the GSC as well. I'm eventually going to make a series about that. But then we have our pink out game against Lenore Rhine. Then we go up to Charleston, South Carolina to play the Citadel, in which, by the way, hello Braxton Williams. Hope you're doing well up there in the Citadel. And then we have North Greenville on October 25th, our homecoming game, which we wear red once again. And then here comes, I would say most of the gauntlet starts at the Citadel. Starts at that game, and then we have 3 home games consecutive, and then we end the season at West Florida. So we have North Greenville on October 25th, West Alabama November 1st for Military and First Responders Appreciation Day, and then Delta State for Senior Day, where we wear black. So the question I pose for all of us here to kind of just wrap things up here, because we only have 4 teams in the Gulf South Conference. Those last 3 games are essentially going to decide who makes the playoffs. So the question is, which of these GSC showdowns do you think will decide it? Will it be VSU West Florida in week 10, Delta State West Alabama in week 10, or VSU West Al in week 9, or Delta State versus West Florida in week 9?
And also, you got to remember, this year starts the new playoff format for the Division II playoffs with 8 teams now from every super region instead of 7. So now there is 1 extra team to worry about.
So there's a possibility that out of the 4 conferences that make Super Region 2, the SIAC, the SAC, the Conference Carolinas, and the GSC in the Gulf South Conference, we might be seeing 2 GSC teams make it. So which of those matchups do you think will decide that? And you can also leave your comments down below. Who wants to go first on this one?
Oh, well, looking at the schedule right there and looking just off the results from, the last slate of games, I am circling the West Alabama game.
The West Al game, okay.
And that game at West Florida.
And that game at West Florida.
Those are the 2 heavy hitter games, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I feel, just based off prior years, plus what I saw out of what we can expect to see out of North Greenville this year, I think.
Right.
The North Greenville game, they're dangerous, but I think we can beat them.
Yeah, you think they're handleable?
I think we can handle them, especially at home.
Right.
On homecoming, although those homecoming games can be a bit of a trap sometimes.
They can.
But at home on homecoming against, a North Greenville team that's good, they're talented, but they can never really seem to bring it together. Mm-hmm. I think we can handle them.
Yeah, especially the case last year of North Greenville, Ramirez making a couple boneheaded decisions that cost them the game.
Really, they could have beat us last year.
They could have.
They probably should have, if we're being honest.
Possibly, but two teams have got to make the national championship, and we were one of them.
And then that West Alabama game, always a really good defense.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to play them last year.
No, that's the thing. I'm honestly kind of mad that we were robbed at that game last year, because that would have been one heck of a game to watch.
Yeah.
I think that this year, West Alabama, they're going to have a point to prove. They want to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. Mm-hmm. And so I look for them to come into VSU, to come into Valdosta. They're going to be upset hungry.
Oh yeah.
We're going to have a target on our backs, and Scott Cochran is going to have that team ready to go.
Absolutely.
And Spencer Arsenault, I think he's going to come out slinging it.
Mm-hmm. Ansley, Electra, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I kind of agree. I think that West Al is going to come in, and they're going to be a game that's exciting to watch. And this might be a hot take, but I think Delta State has a lot of good players.
Absolutely.
I think they are slept on. I mean, I think the score last year, 49-20. Us.
And then the previous year they flipped the script on us.
Right. So that's a team that I think can come out, and if they're on their game, they can beat us.
Oh, absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah.
Delta State is also just a school that, this obviously I'm going to go back to soccer. You never know what they're going to produce.
Oh yeah.
You never know what they're going to provide. Like I said, I think they have great players that are coming back, and that'll be a game to kind of mess with. And then of course, West Florida. I definitely think that'll be our toughest battle this season.
I agree.
But when we play them, it's always a game to watch, So I think that I don't think I can tell you exact one game that I'm like, it's going to differentiate us making it or not. I think that let's say we beat all those three teams.
Yep.
The scores could go completely different when they play each other.
Right.
And then that, that'll kind of come down to it. So that's my take on it.
And there's always the chance that we see them again in the playoffs.
Right. And then it's very hard to beat the same team twice.
Yep. Electra, your thoughts?
So I really don't have a take, but picking up off of what Ansley was talking about, Delta State is one of those schools that I witnessed. They come and they show up, they show out. So even with basketball, I can't exactly remember. Did we play them twice last year?
We play every team twice.
Okay, so we played them twice. And then what was the final score for both games?
They were extremely close. I think we lost at home and won away.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. So with you even saying that we were extremely close, there with Delta State, there's no telling how they're going to produce in any sport. Even with football last year, yes, we won. I know we won the home game, but I can't.
Yeah, we won every home game.
We won, yeah. But I'm saying because we played them twice in football, right?
No, we only played them once.
So not even that. But based off what Ansley was saying, Delta State is just one of those teams that you never know how they're going to come. So I can't really give you, like she said, a game that I think is just going to make us or break us. I'm the type to just go to a game, watch it, and then do my research after that game to see what that team was talking about.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I had to say.
I'm just going to boil it down to one game. It's the Gulf Coast Clash. VSU West Florida at Pensacola.
Think so?
Well, that's the fan in me. The fan in me says VSU West Florida because that. I call it the Gulf Coast Clash for a reason, and I keep saying, Greg, please make this a thing. Make this the new red clay rivalry. But that's besides the point. That is entirely besides the point. So the fan in me says West Florida VSU. We'll decide the GSC. However, logically, where I'm kind of going with this, I'm not going to involve VSU at all. Logically, I think the game that might really decide it is when West Florida plays either West Al or Delta State, because those are let's be real here. West Florida and West Al are probably the heaviest hitters in this conference. Delta State's sneaky. Delta State is a very sneaky team. They have numbers, they have experience, and they can be a surprise. They can surprise you as they did against Central Missouri. VSU, we're not in a rebuilding stage. We're more in a reloading stage. We have a lot of new guys, a whole lot of new faces. So I'm not exactly sure from a logic standpoint if destiny is really in our hands as much as it is in the other team's hands to determine where we end up.
Agreed.
So those West Florida Delta State games and that West Florida West Alabama game, especially West Florida West Al, like that is a fight. That is going to be a heavyweight bout. While we play Delta State, West Florida and West Al will be going at it.
But then you also cannot discount the non-con games from other teams in our region.
Oh, absolutely, especially
UNC Pembroke and Lenore-Rhine.
Those are going to be huge,
and even Johnson C. Smith.
Yeah. So even for the fact that we only have 3 conference games this season, like strength of schedule is absolutely in our favor. If we even finish second in the conference, our strength of schedule, I think, will hold up.
Here's my thing. Here's my take on it. I think as long as we can win 1 or 2, preferably 2 at least, of these non-con games, and then at least 2 of these conference games, especially if it's against West Al or West Florida, preferably West Florida, I think we get in.
You think we get in there?
I think we get in, even at 7-3. I think we would get in as one of the lower seeds.
Well, there you go. That's our thoughts on that. If you want to share your thoughts, please put them in the comments below on YouTube or on Spotify. We do read them. We do read your guys' comments, and we'll bring them up. The next episode. So, want to interact with us? We'll interact with you on the show. But with that being said, we're running nearly an hour on this, so we're gonna wrap things up here for the season 5 opener of the Inferno Blazer Sports Show. I still don't know how on earth we got here through 8 hosts. This is now our 25th episode of this show alone. I think we're nearing like 50 episodes total with extra embers, which also, by the way, be on the lookout for those extra embers as well. We got several of them planned coming up. A whole lot of great content. But for now, for me, for Sawyer, for Electra, and Ansley, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Inferno. And as always, if you can't take the heat, what makes you think you can survive the Inferno? And just because I got to keep things going, hey, Craig, say something to the people.
Bye, Felicia.